There are a lot of theories flying around over this Morara Kebaso Manenos. The young, gallant, patriotic Kenyan who has been doing a very good job educating older Kenyans, even Kumekucha Chris, on exactly how our system of corruption in Kenya works. And indeed he has come out with some very, very shocking revelations. The developments over the last 48 hours or so concerning this Morara Kebaso Manenos have been very interesting. And these very many theories over his arrest, and then arraignment with what was clearly a faulty charge sheet, and then release on bail. In my humble opinion, actually those many theories are taking us away as far as possible from the truth. They're actually distracting us from ever discovering the truth. And the truth is going to shock most of us. Stay with me on my show today to get shocked. Now, before we proceed, please allow me a few moments to talk about our sponsors for today's video. LemFi. Now, this is an app for sending money to your loved ones back home. And you can send money to at least 10 African countries. And there are a couple of advantages here. 0 transaction fees, one of the best exchange rates on the market. Direct transfer either to a bank account or even to Mpesa. And then, wait for this one, you can also receive money from Kenya. And again, 0 transaction fees. I suggest that you try it out. You may just like it. And if you can use my code, which you can see on your screens right now, KUMEKACHA, not Kumekucha, KUMEKACHA, you'll be able to receive $30 back for your first transaction that is above $100. Try it out and let me know how it goes. Now, most of the theories revolve around trying to distract our attention away from where it should really be, so that we're worried about Morara Kebaso. We are focusing on what is happening to him while completely ignoring other crucial things developing. Other crafty Kenyans getting behind our backs and achieving a lot against us. That is really the gist of it. Things like the Adani Manenos, things like the introduction of the new National Health Fund, SHIF or something like that, etc. Now, there's something we need to understand about these political games played by regimes of confusing the public, of taking the public's attention away from something they want to do. We really need to understand how it works. And the first thing that we must take very careful note of, and this is very important, is the fact that diverting attention successfully must also involve something else called changing the narrative. Now, in all these theories being thrown around, nobody has talked about changing the narrative. Let me just give you a quick example so that we're on the same page. During the 2017 presidential election campaigns, Uhuru Kenyatta's campaign team, very smart guys, changed the narrative to their favor. Now, let me very quickly remind you of the circumstances then. It was very clear that Raila Odinga had picked up a lot of support countrywide. It was also clear that there was a very high likelihood of a protest vote against the Jubilee government. People were not happy. And some analysts were predicting that what happened in 2007, the very massive protest vote against Mwai Kibaki, would happen again, but this time round against Uhuru Kenyatta. And so the narrative was Uhuru Kenyatta versus Raila Amolo Odinga. Who is best suited to be president? Who deserves to be elected president? Uhuru Kenyatta's team changed that narrative to, wait for this one, they changed it to, in case Raila Odinga is elected, Kenya is finished because of 1, 2, 3. In case Raila Amolo Odinga is elected, the House of Mumbi, the Agikuyu, are finished. In retrospect, this was pure genius. Because if you want to convince a human being, the most effective way of doing it is to use the emotion of fear. Create fear. And you can convince a human being, you can convince the masses to do anything you want them to do, as long as they understand that what you want them to do will make that fearful scenario go away. And it worked like a charm. And very importantly, it got the House of Mumbi out there to vote. They made sure they voted almost to a man and a woman. Kumera was very effective. Okay? Now, fast forward to the present. Last time I checked, the ongoing narrative that we have a very corrupt, evil regime in power and we don't trust them to do anything, that has not changed. Okay? That is still the narrative. Nobody has changed it. So, explain to me, how can you divert people's attention? Or rather, how has people's attention been diverted? And where has it been diverted to? Because arrest the young man, Morara Kebaso, it will still not change the narrative of mistrust amongst Kenyans. And therefore Kenyans are still very alert to what is happening. With all the other critical issues which are going down now. And of course somebody forgot to mention that the way you keep a narrative alive and fresh on the minds of the people is with new developments, new utterances by politicians, etc., etc. And those are still coming out thick and fast over this Adani issue and even over the new health system and so on and so forth. So, tell me, how has the attention of the country been diverted? I'm sorry, I don't see how. And so if you're still with me, let us now focus on this Morara Kebaso Manenos and try and find out what really went down. Now, it is possible for people to make mistakes. And it is even more likely that somebody will make a mistake when they are under pressure. Okay, it always works. In soccer, for instance, you put pressure on a defense and they'll make a mistake and you will score. And even in business, there is a way you can keep the pressure up on your competitors. And in their desperation under that pressure, they will make mistakes and you'll become the market leader, etc., etc. And so it is not breaking news that the regime of William Samoei Ruto is under intense pressure from all sides. Now, as I was digging deep into these manenos, doing a lot of research here and there, I kept on coming across a word, intervention, yeah, and other words similar to that word. And suddenly it clicked and things became clearer for me. Think about it. People usually intervene when somebody has created a mess, when somebody has made a mistake. And then there is an intervention. There is rarely an intervention when things are going according to plan. Okay? And so, my friends, it seems that somebody somewhere who is powerful decided huyu kijana amezidi kwenda rokota yeye. Okay? And I don't think it is a coincidence that shortly after Morara Kebaso stormed Bomet, then shortly after that, his arrest followed. Okay? And then, of course, after this arrest, somebody even more powerful got wind of what was happening. And they frantically made calls and said, no, that is the wrong move. Please, This is not good for us. Can you stop immediately? But already somebody had been picked up. And so, this needed to be fixed. Now, if you remember the chain of events, they would seem to support what we are saying. Because the young man was picked up, and then very strange. You know, they're usually picked up and then they vanish. Very strange, and it has never happened before. They were taken to a police station. Okay? You'll remember even Alfred Keter's case, the politician. He vanished, he disappeared fast. And then later on, he reappeared at a police station. Now in the case of Morara Kebaso, he was picked up and he never really disappeared. Meaning that the call must have come in as the process was kicking in. Okay? And then also remember, he was being moved from place to place. At one point we heard that he was headed to the DCI along Kiambu Road. Okay? I'm sure you get what I'm driving at. When you look at those developments very early on in this drama. And even what happened towards the end of this very dramatic development suggests exactly the same. A faulty charge sheet was presented in court. The complainant was D. Lagat. Who is DL? Who is that? Has Morara ever mentioned him? And if he has he mentioned him more than he has mentioned the other guy? William Samoei Ruto and his regime? And so, it was very clear that whoever put together this charge sheet already knew it was not going to end up with a successful prosecution. In many ways, it was a way out. It was a way out of a problem. It was fixing the mistake. That is really what it was. Because you just don't pick up somebody and then release them. You can imagine the embarrassment. These people are confused. What are they doing? Etc., etc. And so now, I believe, it becomes very clear what happened here. Okay? And very, very scary. It confirms once again that here we are dealing with a government that does not have any policies. We are dealing with a government that acts on impulse. We are dealing with a government that has powerful people, a few powerful people here and there, who are doing their own things, so that the left hand does not even know what the right hand is doing. Yeah, but they're on the same body. They're on the same side. That is exactly what is happening here. Okay? I'm not sure if Morara will be able to see things like this, because spending the night in police cells is not fun. However, maybe one day he'll be able to see it like this. You see, what has happened here is that this drama has greatly damaged the Ruto regime, and on the other hand, it has greatly uplifted the profile and the brand of Morara Kebaso. What somebody has actually done is that he has lifted up Morara Kebaso to be the main opposition leader in the country called Kenya. That is really what has happened. Now, it is possible that that was intentional. That is very, very possible. Because never forget, we're in something called politics. And politics is a very, very dirty game. If you even want to call it a game. Okay? But I'm persuaded that it was not intentional. I'm persuaded that somebody messed up somewhere big time. And even the effort to fix it got a very hard, shaky landing. Okay? I believe that is exactly what we're facing here over this Morara Kebaso Manenos. Now, you know, it is very sad that in the nation called Kenya, under the new constitution, you are not allowed to speak your mind. because the attention of these powerful people was attracted to the young man simply because of what he spoke, which is his right. It is a constitutional right to speak your mind. And in fact, in this case, there was not so much of speaking of somebody's mind as there was of Morara showing us, this is supposed to be an airstrip, so much money was poured here, and this is the progress made so far. Where has that money gone? He was showing us facts. It was more of him showing us the facts, and less of him giving us his opinions. And the beat goes on, to quote an old popular song in them days. And the beat goes on and on, but I sense the end is nigh. Okay, now very quickly before I go, I just want to remind you yet again, and probably for the last time, about a very special offer on a special report that is bound to open your eyes on how the Ruto regime operates. You'll even be able to understand much more clearer this Morara Kebaso drama that we've just discussed in this video. Now you can see details on your screens right now, repeated in the description area below this video on YouTube, and also in the comments area. For only $19.99, you can have this special report pop in your inbox. And that's not all. You'll also get all my previous highly sensitive special reports. Please go for it. The clock is ticking. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.